The Surge 2 is all about turning up the intensity, diving into a world where every corner hides a new challenge. It's not your typical action RPG. The focus here is on that satisfying, brutal combat where every swing and every block feels meaningful. And let's talk about that combat for a second. It's fast, it's strategic, and it's got that edge-of-your-seat feel. You're not just smashing buttons, you're thinking about where to strike and which limb to target because that's where the fun happens. Severing limbs isn't just for show, it's a tactic. And what's even cooler, you can grab the gear from those limbs and use it for yourself. It's like taking trophies from your battles and showing off your spoils. The combat is one of those things that feels so smooth once you get the hang of it. There's something satisfying about taking down these challenging enemies, especially when they work in packs, making you think on your feet. You can't just rush in swinging. No, you've got to plan your moves carefully, dodge, block, and then strike at the right time. It's all about patience and precision, and when you nail it, it feels like the ultimate win. And don't get me started on how deep the customization gets. Whether you're looking to switch up your combat style or just want to tweak your look, there's a ton of options. You can choose your gender, your appearance, and pick from a variety of weapons, each bringing something different to the table. Want to go with a big heavy weapon to crush your enemies, or maybe something quicker and more agile? There's really no wrong choice here. It Takes Two. This one is all about pure co-op magic, the kind of game that reminds you why playing with someone else can be so much fun. Every part of it is built around two players working together, and the way it pulls that off is nothing short of brilliant. One second you're pulling off a clever puzzle, the next you're flying, sliding, fighting, or goofing around in some wild, unexpected way. It never sticks to one idea for too long, and that's what makes the whole thing feel so fresh from start to finish. What's really cool is how smooth everything flows. One moment you're getting the hang of a new ability, the next you're combining it with your partners in ways that make you feel like the two of you just pulled off something way smarter than you expected. It never tries to overwhelm, but it definitely knows how to keep both players engaged without either side feeling left behind. The game loves variety, and it shows. No two levels are really the same, and the mechanics always match the situation in fun and sometimes ridiculous ways. Whether you're leaping around or using some quirky new gadget, there's always something clever happening in the design. It really leans into creativity without making things complicated, which keeps everything fun and light. One of the best parts is how much it encourages teamwork without making it stressful. Every challenge is built around communication, timing, and a bit of shared thinking, but the game never punishes mistakes too hard. The Evil Within is a survival horror game that really knows how to keep you on your toes. From the very beginning, it's all about managing resources, staying one step ahead, and making every decision count. It's got that old-school survival horror vibe where ammo is scarce and every encounter could be the last. You never know when you'll run out of supplies, so scavenging feels less like an afterthought and more like a key part of the experience. The gameplay is all about finding the balance between fighting and hiding. Sure, you've got weapons, guns, crossbows, even some melee options, but sometimes it's smarter to sneak around and avoid enemies altogether. There's something satisfying about using the environment to your advantage, like setting traps for monsters or throwing bottles to distract them. It really makes you think about every step, and that's what makes it so engaging. What's great about this game is how it keeps you on edge with its traps and environments. There's always something dangerous waiting for you, whether it's a bear trap on the floor or a surprise enemy that you didn't see coming. But it's not just about surviving, it's about surviving smartly. Every encounter feels different because you can either fight or figure out how to outsmart your enemies, and sometimes that means using the environment in creative ways. Upgrading your character adds another layer of depth. As you collect green gel, you can improve things like health, stamina, and ammunition capacity. Horizon Forbidden West takes everything fans loved about the first game and cranks it up to a whole new level. You're back in that massive, stunning world, but this time, it's even bigger and more packed with things to do. The game's set in this post-apocalyptic version of the world where nature has taken over and machines are all over the place. Some friendly, most not so much. Aloy's quest is just as thrilling as ever, and the gameplay has been fine-tuned to give you the most satisfying experience. The first thing you'll notice is how smooth the gameplay feels. It's an open-world game, but It's not overwhelming, you can go off on your own adventure, but there's enough structure to make it feel like you're always progressing, always finding something new. Whether you're scaling a mountain or gliding over a canyon, there's always something around the corner waiting to be discovered. Aloy has some great new tools at her disposal, like a grappling hook and even a glider, which opens up the world in fun new ways. The fact that you can dive underwater adds a whole other dimension to your exploration, making it feel like you're never really done uncovering the world's secrets. When it comes to combat, it's all about strategy. You're facing off against a variety of machines, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. But it's not just about brute force. You need to use the environment, set traps, and think on your feet. Every fight feels intense because you're never sure if you're going to have enough ammo or health to pull through. Red Dead Redemption is one of those games that just sticks with you. It's not just about the Wild West vibes or the epic shootouts, although those are a big part of it. It's more about the world that it builds, the people you meet, and the sheer freedom you get to experience. Seriously, it's like stepping into a living, breathing version of the Wild West where you can do just about anything, from chasing down bounties to playing poker in a dusty saloon. The game's world is huge, and the beauty of it is in how detailed and alive it feels. Every corner has something new to explore, whether it's a random encounter with a stranger or a little side quest that just pops up out of nowhere. You can be minding your business, riding through the plains, and suddenly find yourself in a crazy situation that demands your attention. It's that kind of unpredictability that makes the world so engaging. The freedom to play how you want is another reason why this game stands out. Whether you're the kind of person who's all about shooting first and asking questions later, or someone who takes the peaceful route, the game lets you shape your experience. You can choose to live a life of redemption or let your outlaw side shine, whatever fits your mood. The moral choices you make not only affect your character's journey, but also how people treat you. You could be known as a ruthless gunslinger or a man of honor, and either path has its perks. And let's not forget about the gameplay. The controls are smooth, and the Deadeye system is something that adds so much to the action. Resident Evil 7 brings a fresh, intense twist to the survival horror genre, and it does so in a way that's both thrilling and terrifying. You step into the shoes of Ethan Winters, an everyman trying to find his missing wife, Mia. But instead of running through familiar, action-packed environments, you're placed in a dark, creepy mansion that feels more like a house of nightmares. It's a shift from the more over-the-top action we've seen before, embracing the roots of what made the series so iconic in the first place: atmosphere and tension. The first-person perspective completely changes the game. It feels like you're right there walking through the crumbling house, turning corners, and always wondering what might be lurking around the next one. It's a deep dive into the kind of horror that gets under your skin, where every creak, every shadow makes you second-guess your next move. But it's not just about jumping scares. The game lets you take your time, solving puzzles, managing resources, and really exploring your surroundings, which only builds that sense of dread. Then, there's the combat. It's all about managing what little ammo and health you have, which means you can't just go in guns blazing. Instead, it's about using your environment, thinking strategically, and always being ready to run when things get too heated. This isn't a game that makes you feel like a superhero. It makes you feel vulnerable. And that's what makes it so engaging. Every fight feels earned. A Way Out. This one really flips the usual co-op formula on its head. From the first minute, it's clear this isn't just a game you can play with someone, it's a game you have to play with someone. A Way Out is completely built around two players, and that's where all the magic happens. The way it's designed to split the screen constantly is so clever. One minute, you're both doing something completely different, like one guy sneaking through a hallway while the other's in a tense conversation. And then the next minute, you're teaming up for some perfectly timed action. It's not just about helping each other out, it's about doing it in sync, sometimes without even speaking. Every section feels fresh. You're not stuck doing the same thing over and over. One moment, you're stealing a truck. The next, you're fishing in a stream. Then, suddenly, you're on the run in a high-speed chase. It keeps changing things up just enough to keep you locked in, always wondering what you'll be pulling off together next. There's also something really satisfying about how it handles choice. Whether you're playing aggressively or taking the quiet approach, both players get a say. It feels like a team effort all the way through, and those small decisions ripple through the gameplay in cool ways. The pacing is another strong point. It doesn't stretch anything out too long. Each scene knows when to start, when to peak, and when to wrap up. It's got this rhythm that keeps things moving, pulling you deeper into the ride without feeling like it's dragging its feet. The Order, 1886, drops you right into a world where Victorian London feels almost like a living, breathing entity with a twist. Picture this: you're in the midst of a secret war between knights, mysterious half-breeds, and some seriously cool steampunk tech. It's a wild blend of history and fiction that pulls you into an alternate version of the past where things are a bit darker and a lot more dangerous. The game lets you step into the boots of Sir Galahad, one of the Knights of the Round Table, but with a modern twist. The combat here is pretty satisfying, especially with the range of weapons you get to play around with. You got your usual guns, but then you got things like the arc gun, which lets you zap enemies with electricity, and the thermite gun that's perfect for causing some serious destruction. The guns and gadgets make the combat feel fresh and inventive, and you're going to find yourself coming up with some creative ways to take down enemies, especially when things get intense. It's not just about fighting, though. The game really wants you to feel like you're part of this world, and it shows in the way you move through it. There's a lot of sneaking around, carefully choosing your next move, and figuring out the best way to approach situations. It's like being in a big puzzle where combat and exploration both play important roles. Plus, there's a bit of strategy in choosing the right weapon for the right enemy, keeping things varied and fun. While you're exploring, you'll also be encountering quick-time events, QTEs, which might not be for everyone. Chivalry 2 brings all the chaos and fun of medieval battles to life in a way that's both hilarious and intense. Imagine charging into battle with swords clashing, arrows flying, and the sounds of war all around you. This game absolutely nails that sense of epic scale. There's a real sense of control over your combat style, whether you're swinging a big old battle axe or picking off enemies from afar with a crossbow. The combat system is pretty straightforward to pick up, but there's a lot of depth once you get into the rhythm of it. It's all about timing and precision. Whether you're delivering a crushing blow or blocking an attack, every move feels satisfying. One of the coolest things is how you can use the environment to your advantage, like throwing a barrel or even a chicken at an enemy when things get too intense. The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes the game so fun. It's a blend of strategic fighting and pure chaos that somehow always feels balanced. The game doesn't stop at just being a full-throttle, sword-swinging action fest. It also brings a lot of personality to the table. While the battles are intense, there's a lot of humor baked in. For example, Brawl Mode lets you pick up all kinds of random objects, fish, chairs, turkey legs, and turn them into makeshift weapons. It's the kind of silliness that helps keep the vibe fresh, especially when you're just trying to survive a giant melee and end up swinging a giant loaf of bread at someone. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is a game that really takes you to a whole new level of immersion. It's one of those titles where, once you're in, you'll forget about everything else around you. Picture this: you're dropped into a massive open world that's as eerie as it is fascinating, with a mysterious atmosphere that's impossible to ignore. There's no sugarcoating it. It's gritty, and it's challenging in the best ways. The game lets you roam freely, and that freedom is paired with a huge variety of things to do. Whether you're exploring the ruins of a place caught between time or trying to survive against dangerous anomalies, it's hard not to get lost in its unique setting. The world is full of surprises, some friendly, some not so friendly, but it's the kind of place where everything feels alive, even when it's not. And the gameplay? It's dynamic. You'll find yourself swapping between exploration, intense combat, and strategic decision-making all the time. Whether you're sneaking past enemies or standing your ground in a firefight, the game does a great job of making every moment feel important. You can always feel the tension, like you're always on the edge, but it's a good kind of tension, the kind that keeps you coming back for more. What really stands out is the sense of unpredictability. Just when you think you've got things under control, something will happen that completely throws you off. The game doesn't hold your hand, but it rewards you for your patience and your willingness to adapt. Rise of the Ronin. The game lets you jump into a period of political chaos and cultural change, giving you the reins of a customizable protagonist ready to shape the future. And let me tell you, there's plenty to do once you step into this massive open world. The gameplay is all about choice, skill, and fluid combat. You're not just hacking away mindlessly at enemies. Every fight feels strategic with its deep combat mechanics. Whether you're slicing through foes with a katana or using ranged weapons, every move counts. It's fast-paced, but also rewards you for staying sharp and thoughtful, especially with the deflect mechanic that'll have you dodging and parrying like a pro. The game doesn't hold your hand, so if you want to master the combat, it's all on you. Exploration? Absolutely fantastic. You get to roam around cities, villages, and vast rural landscapes. The game makes the most of its open world, with each location feeling alive and offering plenty of activities to discover. You can't help but dive into side missions, gathering supplies, or helping out NPCs along the way. Whether you're on horseback, using a grappling hook, or gliding across the terrain, moving around is smooth and satisfying. And trust me, the world feels like it has depth. Every corner holds something new. The character customization is another highlight. You get to design your character exactly how you want, from their appearance to their abilities, making the experience personal and unique. Wolfenstein: The New Order is a game that takes you to an alternate version of the 1960s, where the Nazis have won World War II and taken control of the globe. Sounds intense, right? It's an action-packed, first-person shooter that doesn't just throw you into a bunch of missions, it immerses you in a world full of unique enemies, crazy weaponry, and some seriously high stakes. And while it's all about blowing stuff up, it doesn't skimp on telling a compelling story, either. From the start, the game does a great job of letting you decide how you want to handle situations. Do you want to sneak through enemy lines, pick off foes one by one? Or are you the type that charges and guns blazing, taking out anyone who dares cross your path? Either way, the game's combat feels satisfying and flexible. It's not just about shooting, it's about making the experience fit your style, which is always a nice touch. One of the standout features here is the weapon variety. We're talking everything from standard guns to wacky, over-the-top experimental weapons. And the best part? You can dual-wield most of them. Want to go full Rambo with 2 shotguns? Go for it. That level of freedom really makes combat fun, and there's something pretty thrilling about unleashing chaos with a weapon in each hand. The environments are also well thought out. Each level feels like a different part of this twisted version of Earth, and the design really pulls you into the setting. You'll explore everything from high-tech Nazi strongholds to more desolate, war-torn locations. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 drops players right into the action with its fast-paced, tactical gameplay that everyone loves. Whether you're a seasoned veteran of the series or someone jumping in for the first time, there's something here for everyone. The game mixes the familiar with new, adding some cool updates that make it stand out. The multiplayer mode is where a lot of the fun happens. It's got a ton of different modes, so you'll never feel like you're running out of things to do. Whether you're into team-based objectives, free-for-all chaos, or tactical rescue missions, there's always a fresh way to dive in. The maps are constantly updated, and the cross-platform play means you can squad up with friends no matter what system they're on. Oh, and let's not forget about the gunsmith system, which gives you so many ways to customize your weapons. You can really dial in the perfect loadout for your playstyle, whether you're all about precision or heavy firepower. One of the standout features this time around is the integration with Warzone 2.0. It's a free-to-play battle royale mode that adds an entirely new layer of gameplay. Think of it as a massive playground for chaotic action. And if you're more into co-op, the Special Ops mode is perfect for teamwork and strategy. It really focuses on making you work with your teammates to complete complex missions, which adds a whole new dynamic compared to the regular multiplayer modes. It's also not all about run-and-gun action. Cry Primal. This one throws you straight into the Stone Age, and somehow it just works. No cars, no guns, no radios blaring in the background. Just spears, clubs, wild animals, and pure survival. It's raw, wild, and surprisingly addicting in the best kind of way. There's something so satisfying about crafting weapons out of sticks and stones and watching them actually do some serious damage. The best part is how everything revolves around nature. It's not just background decoration, it matters. Trees, rocks, fire, animals, you end up paying attention to everything because you kind of have to. Even the smallest resource ends up being useful. and the whole world feels alive with danger and opportunity. And that owl, let's just say it's way more than just a bird. It's like your prehistoric drone buddy, and it's awesome. Taming animals turns out to be way more fun than expected. Once you figure out how it works, suddenly you're rolling with a pack of wolves or a massive beast right by your side. And these animals aren't just cosmetic, they actually help out in smart ways. Sneaking through tall grass with a saber-toothed cat by your side never stops being cool. Upgrading the village and unlocking new skills gives everything a nice sense of progress. There's always something to work toward. Maybe it's better gear, maybe it's a new beast companion, maybe it's just expanding your home base. Whatever it is, the game constantly gives little nudges forward without ever feeling like a grind. Manor Lords. This one really leans into that medieval fantasy of building up your own peaceful little village until things start to get complicated. There's something deeply satisfying about placing down roads, setting up markets, watching your little villagers go about their daily lives, and slowly evolving from a scattered settlement into something that actually feels like a functioning society. Everything flows with this natural rhythm where each choice nudges your economy, your expansion, and even your military forward. It's not just about throwing down buildings and calling it a day. Every resource matters. Timber, food, tools, all of it needs to be managed with some thought. There's a real sense of progression, like every tiny step leads towards something bigger, and watching that growth unfold is half the joy. And the layout freedom is a huge bonus. You're not locked into grids or strict placement rules. Everything feels organic, like shaping a real landscape rather than playing on a board. And then, when combat comes into play, it's a totally different beast. This isn't about flashy power moves or over-the-top action. It's grounded and strategic. Positioning matters, formations matter, and charging headfirst without thinking usually ends in disaster. You actually need to stop and think things through, which makes every battle feel earned, rather than just triggered. What's really fun is how this all comes together. Ever wondered what it's like to leap, swing, and battle through the air with the precision of an acrobat? In this game, you're doing exactly that, but with the twist of mastering ancient powers and unraveling secrets from the past. The moment you start moving, the fluidity is there. The kind of platforming that keeps you on your toes and makes you feel like you're on a never-ending adventure. Jumping into the world, you instantly feel the impact of how movement matters. Every action you take in this game is smooth, and that's really what stands out. Whether you're running up walls or sliding under obstacles, it's all about mastering that flow. What takes it to the next level, though, is how each movement ties into combat, where you can time your attacks with your parkour moves, creating this seamless dance between action and exploration. The timing is crucial, but when you nail it, it's incredibly satisfying. Combat is another place where things get exciting. You got your blades ready, but it's not just about hacking away. You've got to think about the rhythm, making sure your attacks are spot on. There's this cool mechanic where your moves fill up a gauge that lets you unleash some powerful special attacks when the time's right. It's all about being strategic, knowing when to block and when to strike. And then there's the exploration. What really pulls you in isn't just the world itself. It's how each area feels interconnected. State of Decay 2. This one really throws you straight into the deep end of survival, in the best way possible. There's something so cool about building up a scrappy little community from nothing, watching it grow while constantly dealing with all the wild stuff the world throws at you. Every decision actually matters, like who you recruit, what you build, and how you manage your resources. It's not just about staying alive, it's about thriving in chaos. One of the best parts is how unpredictable everything feels. No run ever plays out the same. One moment you're scavenging in an abandoned house, the next you're sprinting back to base with a busted up car and half your crew injured. And somehow, that's where the fun lives, in the chaos and the close calls. It nails that feeling of tension without ever being unfair. The gameplay loop is super satisfying. You're constantly balancing the need to explore, fight, manage, and expand. There's always something to do, and the game never really lets you get too comfortable. Supplies run out, new threats pop up, and tough choices are always right around the corner. But that's what keeps it exciting. The characters in your community make things even more interesting. Each one has their own personality, skills, and sometimes even quirks that totally change the dynamic of your group. Swapping between them and deciding who handles what adds a cool layer of strategy. Subnautica. This one drops you into the middle of an alien ocean and just lets you go. No hand-holding, no long tutorials, just pure survival mixed with a constant sense of curiosity. It's the kind of experience where you're learning constantly what resources do, where certain things live, what to avoid, and what you absolutely need to build next to go deeper. And that's the magic of it. It never tells you what's around the next corner, which makes every dive feel like a mini adventure. The way it handles progression is super smooth. You start with almost nothing, scrambling for water and food, and before you know it, you're crafting submarines, building underwater bases, and managing gear like a seasoned explorer. There's this steady sense of growth that just clicks. Every item you scan, every resource you gather, it all adds up to something meaningful. It's incredibly satisfying when the things you craft aren't just for show, they're essential tools that make you braver and bolder each time you leave your shelter. Creatures play a huge role in how the world feels. You've got harmless little guys swimming around, just adding life and color. But then there are others, massive, aggressive, and way too interested in what you're doing. Figuring out how to navigate around them or through them becomes this game within the game. Some will chase, some will surprise, and others just make you rethink how deep you really want to go. Until Dawn Remake. This one is a delicious blend of tension, decision-making, and those perfect uh-oh moments that just keep on coming. The game doesn't waste time throwing you into the kind of situation where every choice feels just a little too important, and suddenly blinking during a quick-time event starts to feel like a life-altering mistake. The new over-the-shoulder camera really changes the vibe. There's something about that angle that makes every hallway and corner feel way more personal, like you're actually there trying to make the best of a very, very bad vacation. It's subtle, but it works like magic for keeping the suspense high without needing to overdo it. One thing that really shines is how smooth everything feels this time around. The controls, the interactions, even the little details and how choices flow together. It's all stitched up nicely. The added accessibility options are a smart touch too. Whether you're in it for the full challenge or just want to cruise through for the ride, it gives players a bit more flexibility without taking away from the tension. There's also some fresh content sprinkled in, which is a treat. It doesn't feel tacked on or forced. It's more like discovering an extra room in a place you thought you knew inside out. Just enough to make you lean forward and go, wait, this wasn't here before. Performance-wise, things are mostly tight, though there are a few hiccups depending on where you're playing, but it's never enough to pull you out of the moment. Hitman 3 wraps up the World of Assassination trilogy with style, offering players a truly thrilling experience. From start to finish, it's all about making stealthy decisions, perfecting the art of assassination, and feeling like the world's most dangerous secret agent. This is one of those games where the challenge isn't just about completing objectives, but finding the most creative, slick, and clever ways to take down targets. Each mission takes you to an entirely new, meticulously crafted location, from the towering skyscrapers of Dubai to the lush vineyards of Mendoza. There's always something unique to each setting, and that's what makes it so much fun to explore. The freedom you get to approach each mission in so many different ways is what makes it stand out. Want to go full stealth, taking out enemies without anyone ever knowing? You can do that. Prefer a more explosive approach? Go for it. There's no single right way to do things here, and that flexibility is key to keeping every mission fresh. The gameplay is all about choice. You can blend in with the crowd, use disguises, or find a hidden spot to wait until your target strolls by. The tools and weapons you have at your disposal range from silenced pistols to remote explosives, so the ways you can approach a mission are endless. But what really sets it apart is the way the levels are designed. There are so many little interactions you can discover. A simple act like tampering with the environment could lead to a completely unexpected outcome.